نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So our lesson today would be about wudu. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Quran these beautiful ayat where He says, يا أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين وإن كنتم جنبا فاطهروا وإن كنتم مرضى أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط أو لامستم النساء فتيمموا فلم تجدوا ماء فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا فامسحوا بوجوهكم وأيديكم منه ما يريد الله ليجعل عليكم من حرج ولكن يريد ليطهركم وليتم نعمته عليكم لعلكم تشكرون. O you who believe, when you stand up for the prayer, wash your faces and your hands up to the and including elbows, and do masah, wipe over your head, and your feet means wash them up to ankles. So that's the bit of Surah Ma'idah which gives you faraid of prayer. And we know, we have discussed that last week, but for the sake of completion and revision. So first is to wash your hand, or wash your face. Wash your face from the hairline here, below the chin, from tragus to tragus, ear to earlobe, just in front of that, ensuring that no part remains dry. Once you've done it, your wudu for the face is done. And the water must flow over it. Ghusl means that Allah commands, the water should drip over it, not being wet. You can't just wipe and see those with a wet tissue. Shouldn't be enough. Washing the arms up to and including the elbows, and there's difference of opinion whether including or not including elbow. Up to elbow or including. In Hanafi school, it is including elbows. And which is safer point? Because even the Imams who considered elbow not be part of it, even they say it's mustahab and sunnah to do it because it's only a matter of difference of opinion for the fact that does the ayah include it here or not? Is that ila lil including or without? So that's only a linguistic distinction, a fiqh distinction, as opposed to practice. Practice remains the same. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. And likewise, washing the feet up and including the ankles. Again, same difference of opinion. And to wipe the moist, which is the moist hand, the mask over the quarter of the head. Now we mentioned that there's just a difference of opinion how much of the head should be wiped. A quarter, more, all of it, only one, finger touching, 3 finger. So in Hanafi school, it's a quarter of the head. Okay. So conditions which obligate wudu are these. Someone is sane, then they have mean insane people are not required to. They didn't do it, don't force them to do it. They don't want to do it, let them come and pray if they want to do it. Puberty. So pubertal boys, girls, they should make wudu. Without that, they can just pray and do whatever. Don't overemphasize. Like emphasize it, but don't push them. Because sometimes they went to toilet and did their wudu, which wasn't, that they've only touched water here just to show you. But don't be too pedantic. Don't show them that you do not trust them. Oh, you done it? Okay, fine. Quickly. Don't think, oh, you committed sin, you're doing haram, you'll be punished, you're lying, you didn't do wudu and you should. Don't make it like that. This is not the way. And they're not normally lying. Kids don't lie. They don't need psychologically, and the threat, they say in order to avoid that threat from you. But they don't mean to lie. They don't want to harm you by that. So it is how you behave towards them. So let it be nice. And many a time, do the irmal, means ignore, even when you know. But make certain points that this is essential. That's a boundary. You cannot go beyond that. Then you can control them and let them do a lot more things. The trouble is you make it so seal tight that they can't breathe. And many times, then they would resort to either lie, making up things, excuses. Oh, I've got tummy ache. Oh, they started crying for no reason. And what it would do, it would cause you more trouble. Now you miss the class or the Jama'ah as well because he has got tummy ache. So what can I do? Take to A&E, waiting for 4, 5, 6 hours and coming home and find out, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. So, and he's not making it up. He got that pain because of the stress that he had. And the stress can cause you pain. So you're not helping the situation. They'll be pushed away from deen. When they're in that state, leave them alone. Let them do. Mawlana Zakir, rahmatullah alayhi, his father, when he was about 7 years old, started making him memorize Quran. So he would say, all you need to do, so whole day he's in the madrasa, father is teaching Bukhari and other books. He said, okay, you've done your breakfast, you okay, ready for sabak? Yes, Dad. Until 7, the age of 7, he would never ask him to do anything, playing whatever. When he turned 7, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructed, he said, now you just come and read Quran. So he was being taught how to read Quran. Once he learned that, maybe he was about 9 or 10, every day his job was to recite whole Quran. That's his madrasa. So, okay, you sit there and complete your Quran. Once you've done it, fine. So he said, he said, I would just many a time come after 2, 3 hours or whatever, read some, but skip few. And I said, then I've done it. I said, completed all? Yes, okay, off you go. Then he said, yes, I've done. We'll find out tomorrow. Tomorrow. Because every next day, he said, I would do the same thing. Every next day, Dad would ask, but what about yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I missed few. Today I've done completed. I've definitely completed today. Okay. Next day, say the same thing. Yesterday I missed, yes, you're right. I missed few yesterday, but today I've done all. So Dad knew it. Whenever I say that I've done whole of it, he said, yes, I will find out tomorrow. Because this was a habit. And he would just do it whole every day. So it didn't mean they're very small kids. So kids are kids. Let them be the way they are. So don't be too harsh on them. Anyway, so puberty. Likewise, one must be a Muslim to possess enough water. They should be ritually impure, means they have, done something that would nullify their wudu. If they're already in the state of wudu, it doesn't obligate them to have further wudu because they're already in the state of wudu. To be free from special days of women, both either through the monthly cycle or through the childbirth, and then have enough time. If you don't have time, because you just woke up and time is gone, and there's only 10 seconds left, what do we do? It doesn't obligate you. The Sharia has got those, leeways. And the conditions of pure water reaches the skin of those parts which are required to be washed. It must go all the way. Otherwise, your wudu is not validated. One is free from those things which are incompatible with wudu, such as bleeding for women and ritual, anything, urinating, whatever. But that is why when you've done your, say, face, and you're about to do your hand, and you pass away, all nullified. You have to do again. Okay. Don't say that I've already washed it, it's washed, it's wet, and still dripping. Not count. Second?
Same here.
Oh, it's not coming.
Same one that we used last week.
Should be the same one. Is the link the same?
Yeah, it's same.
Should be the same one. It's always the same.
Yeah, but you have to provide it.
Also, you were not here last year. We discussed that, but let's clarify. So the beard, so what's the ruling on beard? That would come there, inshallah ta'ala. This called khilal. Let's go through that and then we'll be there. We'll come to that because that's more sunnah and detailed part. The removal of that would prevent the water from reaching the skin, such as wax, fat, or the nail varnish these days for women, or anything that would create a barrier. Paint. So you're painting home, your own room or whatever, and then some paint left there. You must ensure that you've cleared it. But if you tried your best and you couldn't do it, then there's a bit of a leeway. thick beard or sparse beard. Thick beard is water where you can see the skin underneath. The skin can be seen. If I look at your face, I can't see the skin underneath. It's hiding. It's hiding. Yeah? This is thick beard. Yeah, even yours thick. A little bit here. So whichever part you can see, that should be wet. So hanging like so if the thick beard, then water must reach only to the visible part. Whatever we could see, just on top, not inside. But that's sunnah. To make sure that it goes inside here and there. Sparse beard, it should just go to the skin everywhere. Everywhere. Because you can go without much trouble. Here, hanging from the periphery of the face, what about these? And conceal part of the lips, they're exempted. So, hair, which is grown, is hanging. So, what part of my beard must be wet? Not the hanging ones. If they are not wet, so that is why you don't have to put your beard under the running tap, making sure that every hair follicle is wet, and then you wet yourself after that because the brush dripping everything down. Don't do that. You're not taking ghusl here. Water on the skin, which is connected to the facial skin, not the one hanging down. This bit, if it's dry, fine. This bit, but from there, whatever is on the skin here, that must be wet with water. Does it make sense? And likewise on the face, this is the concealed part, which is concealed part of the lip, the wet part. That part, inside. The dry part must be wet. So you can't do your wudu keeping it like this. And we discussed about the eyes. You can't do your wudu. The bit of the eye, which is here, that must all be wet properly. And I highlighted the point about the small space. Some people have quite thick beard. You may be, Kashif may have thick beard. Some people have so thick a beard that sometimes the space between the tragus, this bit, and the hair remains wet. You just wet here, you left that. Now that should be wet as well. If the fingers are tightly held together, or a nail has grown so long that it has covered the fingertip, or there is something in the nail which prevents the water from reaching the fingertip, such as dough, then it will be incumbent to remove the substance and wash them underneath. Curved nails must be removed. Substances such as dirt do not prevent the penetration of the water. Dirt does not stop, it can seep through. It can go through that, that's not a problem. So normal dirt is fine. It will just go through that. It doesn't create a layer. It is incumbent that a tight ring be moved about. This tight ring be moved about. If washing the cracks was harmful, then it will suffice. Allow the water to over the medicine applied to them. So you've got a crack on the heel, whatever, especially in the winter season, then it will hurt if you put the water deep, if you stretch it to open the wound. So don't do that. There's some medicine there. Yourself mute, sisters. One is not required to repeat the mash or washing of any limb from where the hair have been shaved. So to be two participants here. Mute. So what they're saying that you've done your wudu or ghusl, then you went for umrah, or for whatever reason you just shaven your head. So masa was done on the hair which are gone. They have to repeat your masadam. That's fine. You've done your wudu, then you cut your nails. You realize, oh my goodness, that the hair bit, end bit, is now the one without any water going through it. Yeah, you understand that? Do I need to do no? Fine. That's the kallif. Don't do that. 18 sunan of wudu. Sahib Nur Ul Idaah, the author has counted 18. There are many. Some books would give 15, some would give 13, depending on how you look at things. Sometimes Sunan and Mustahabbat are similar. There's, a special way of looking at things. So not a big deal. So whatever number, I just counted them 18 based on what the book says. So washing the hands, including the wrist in the beginning, especially. Like, this is how we start our wudu, isn't it? The recitation of Basmala. So now Bismillah Rahman Rahim in the beginning. If you recite it, that's sunnah, you get removed from that. Some imams would consider that to be more important than this sunnah. Use of miswak, that is sunnah, obviously. To rinse the mouth thrice, even if it is with a single handful of water. So if you've just done from there, keep taking 3 from there, but do it. It's must have to do it three times. Now you don't have to take water every time from the same source. But 3 better. To rinse the nose with 3 handfuls of water. If not fasting, to rinse thoroughly the mouth and nose. Obviously, during fasting, you shouldn't, because you may accidentally get some water inside the throat and that will nullify your fasting. To saturate a thick beard by inserting a handful of water from underneath and then to comb it with the fingers upward, like this. So water goes there and then like this. And down, up, not the other way. Yes, from the right. Okay. If you don't have long hair, you can't do that. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would say, "Hakada amarani Rabbi. Hakada amarani Rabbi." This is how my Lord instructed. A short beard, you can't do that sunnah. How old are you now? How old?
That's the secret.
That's a women's secret, not for men. So what it does, it just keep you away from that sunnah to be fulfilled. So important. Yeah. Hakada amarani Rabbi. To pass the wet finger of one hand into the gaps between the fingers of the other hand. This is like this, ensuring that everything is being properly done. To wash each limb thrice. To do once is fard, 3 times is sunnah. Sunnah is plural of sunnah. To do must have the whole head. To do the must of the ears, even though it may be with the leftover water from the must of the head. So even with the same one, it's fine. Do it. To rub the limbs. Talq. That's according to some is wajib, but in Hanafi school is sunnah. So this is what we call khilal. Takhleel. Lihya. Takhleel lihya. And you do like this, you can do like this, like a feet with the finger, but using only the left one, going from, and the mustahab way is to go from here, right to left. Everything we do, right to left is better. All the way. That's takhleel of toes. To perform the action of wudu successively, it means that you have done one muwalat, one after the other, without having long enough break that would dry up the first part. Means you don't check your WhatsApp. You've done your face, and now there's a call, and you're talking or doing whatever, or having a cup of tea or whatever, and then continue. So it means the initial part has been dried. Now it doesn't nullify. It's not a must, but according to some imam, this tawaliyan is wajib. You must do it in succession. In Hanafi school, it's sunnah. So try to fulfill all the things which are wajib according to any imam to save your. It's a better way of doing it. Although your wudu would be done with only 4 faraid. So the value of knowing this, especially at the time when you think that you might miss your jama'ah. You just got imam is in the last tashahhud. If you did everything from mustahab to sunnah to everything and then fard, imam would say salam. Likewise for janazah. So just quickly do your 4 faraid and come. Or 20 people queuing up and everyone was keen to get the Jum'ah done. So if you just at that point do your best 5 minutes, 7 minutes wudu, then you're going to cause so many people bit of a stir, isn't it? So don't do that. Be wise and sensible. Just do faraid and come with the intention of benefiting others as well. Inshallah, you'll be more rewarded. But that for leaving sunnah, which you wanted to do, but you only left it for the fact that other people can benefit and they do not miss out on their faraid and the jama'ah. You understand that? Especially Jummah, Eid, the prayer that they might find it difficult to go and make up for. Jummah is missed, they don't have to do Dhuhr. They miss their Jummah. Eid, there's no alternative. You have to do Eid the next day, maybe or somewhere else, or you just lost it. And you're concerned about your own mustahabbat and not concerned about others' faraid. So that's been like a little bit selfish. So be sensible about this. To make intention, now having the intention, remember, it's very important to make intention. It is a problem. Now you have the intention when you go for wudu, but just sometimes try to say it, make it a habit rather than accidentally doing it. Have the intention. In your mind, you have the intention to do it, but just a little bit more careful. According to Imam Shafi and others, rahmatullahi, it is wajib, it is a rukun, it is must. So if you didn't do it, then according to them, your wudu is not done. According to us, you will not be rewarded. Without intention, a wudu done without intention, no reward. It's valid. You get the prayer done, no reward for wudu. You've done the wudu, but no reward. But obviously, you have the intention, that's why you go there to do it. But many times it happens when you've done your ghusl. You have the intention of ghusl only. Your wudu is done in Hanafi school, but you're not rewarded for that because you haven't got the intention for wudu. To make the intention. Why wasting your time? Well, wasting your reward.
What should the intention be?
It's just in your mind that I'm doing this wudu so that I can pray. I'm doing it for all the ibadah.
You make intention, let's say, for example, Asr. They have to also make that
No. No, so whenever you make wudu, if you make it if you just say I'm doing it for ibadah, whatever, then that cover everything. I want to do wudu for rituals. And the best thing would be stay in the state of wudu all the time. You can do whatever. To observe the order ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, again, the Quran made 4 things obligatory. So if you're done away from the order, wrong order, any order, wudu is still valid in Hanafi school, except that it is against Sunnah. Why would you do something against Sunnah? What's the point of being beloved of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hoping that he would do intercession on our behalf? If you don't follow his way, whose way are you going to follow? You don't just tick box. It's following, because according to some, that is must. Again, obligatory. So take up wudu. Alhamdulillah, we do in order. None of the Hanafi you will find ever doing from foot first. Order means, we'll come to that. We'll cover that as well. And to start from right, this should be our lifeline thing. Everything that you do must be in accordance with the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially whatever you wear. That must be worn to the right side first. In your sleeve, right hand first. In your shoe, right foot first. Likewise, your trousers, whatever you do, whatever you wear, always try from the right side. Giving something with the right hand, taking something with the right hand. Make it a habit, drinking, eating, everything. And whatever you do, take off left first. Now you have to do it. I did audit on that for the Musallis. I told them, and I said, over the next few days, I'll be just observing you. So after the prayer, that was in Red Brick Masjid, when you were this size. So the 80% of people don't do those things properly. The sunnah is that you wear your right shoes first and the left afterwards. At the same time, you have to go out of the masjid with the left foot first. So if you put your shoes in such a way, what people do, they put their shoes outside of the masjid. What would you do? If there's no space here. So you must put your left foot out with the dua on top of your slipper or shoe. And then put the right one inside. You can still combine the two sunnah. Likewise for coming inside the masjid. So you came inside the masjid with your right foot. And now left one, you have to take your shoes off. If you have to take your shoes off outside of the masjid, people take their left shoes. And then obviously, what would you do? Once you've taken it off, you're going to put that inside the masjid. You can't be hanging it in the air. You take it out, step on that, take the right one out, and then come inside the masjid. It doesn't take more than maybe extra second, maybe 2 seconds. If masjid hasn't got the provision, she needs to be taken out in that space. There's no dedicated space. You're just entering inside the masjid straight away and going out. We're just being conscious of this. At home, likewise. Just that little thing that make you a follower of Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to begin with. And it would lead up and give you more strength and courage and barakah and blessings from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's following his way, from his Sunnah, that Allah will shower his mercy upon you. Because Allah says, if you want me, O my slave, if you want me and you want to love me, then follow his way, my beloved's way. I would instead love you. قل, and this is the Quran. قل إن كنتم تحبون الله. Oh, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tell them if they love me, if they want to love me, mean they want to make Allah their beloved. فاتبعوني, so follow your way, means Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's way. Allah would instead love you. You don't need to think about loving Allah. Allah would love you. You become the beloved rather than the lover. We want to be lovers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't bother. Follow my Prophet's way. I will be your lover. Now in this relationship, the lover has to do the work. Beloved doesn't need to do much. So you do follow my lovely. And I'll be working on the things. Me, I do everything. Support you in whichever way. Isn't that amazing? Easy way. But what do we say? Oh, it's only Sunnah. Yeah, I know it's Sunnah though. Right? But what can you do? What can you say? So yes, follow all the Sunnahs of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, especially the simple, easy ones which doesn't make any difference to your life. Taking shoes, you have to take shoes off. You have to put both on, and it doesn't make much difference if you did right on the first, except that if you did it with Sunnah intention and the Sunnah way, you are covered and wrapped up with the mercy of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Understand that? Little bit of work, and then you'll be used to get completely used to it. It becomes second nature. Likewise, even stirring the tea, it's right. You would not find them doing differently. It's not fun. It's not wajib. It's not nothing. It's nothing. You can just do. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't stir sugar like this at all. But it's just planning to do everything from the right side, because Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said he would love everything done from the right side, the good things. And left, the only few things that we do with the left hand, carry on with that. To commence the washing from the tip of the fingers and the performance of masha of the head from the front. So starting from here. If you've done a quarter here, that's done. Quarter there, done. But sunnah is to go from front to the back, and we come to the method at the end. To wipe the nape and not the throat. Wiping the nape of the neck is sunnah as well, but not the front. In fact, it is considered bid'ah. It's not part of Muslims' practice to wipe their throat or the front of the neck. According to, this is one of the opinion in our school that these four, that is why you would find certain, you remember I said that certain one would consider 13 in our books that we teach in Madrasa and Nasiha publication, they have got 13 sunnah. Yes? 13 sunnah. Because these last four are considered mustahab according to some within the madhab, within the school. So it's fine. Calling it mustahab or sunnah doesn't matter. Do everything. Adab. So 14 adab of wudu. To sit upon an elevated place. Why that is? So you do not get any splashes, exactly. And that is okay. Splashes doesn't cause you any harm. They are not najas, unless it is on this dirty place where there's some urine or whatnot. But obviously then would this be a problem. You have to change your clothes, your body. But normally, slightly higher place.
In the home. you recommend them to have like a stool more than the bath or just stand in?
Okay. So we come to that because this is another mustahab to do your wudu sitting. And we miss out on that, isn't it? No. It will be uncomfortable, it may be cumbersome because there's no space, and no problem. It's not for not wajib, not sunnah, or anything. If you could, so whenever you have a chance to do it, then sit down. And if possible, slowly and slowly learn how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would perform his wudu with a small mud. Yes, a glass of water, close to a glass of water. Which is impossible, and people do it. Sitting down, how they would do. At least don't waste too much water. Now, this is another problem. You keep the tap on, doing this, splashing and doing everything, keep doing it. And while tap is there, tap is open, you just do your masah. Tap is running, and you're running your masah on your head. Why is that running, man? What's the problem? If we don't value it, we're not taxed for it, although we pay whatever it is. So we don't see that many people are dying out of thirst in the world, not just in Palestine, but everywhere else, many African countries, sub-Saharan countries. We're not bothered about that. So what? We don't hear that. So what? Let them die. So what? Not my problem. It's their problem. You've got enough to waste. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, even if you're by the river bank, don't waste water. Ya Rasulullah, I'm only doing wudu. Don't waste water. Meaning, you're not supposed to make the fourth running of the tap. No, you can't water it fourth time. 3 times is maximum. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did once and twice and third time. And the muhaddithun have actually, rahimahumullah, they have created chapters on that to say 1 time is okay, 2 times is okay, 3 times is okay. It's better, it's sunnah to do 3 times, but not more than that. That would be wasting. Facing Qibla. To take no assistance, like doing on your own. Don't get someone, unless you need to. Elderly people, frail, unwell, you're in the hospital, you just had an operation. But without that, don't take any assistance. Not to speak of mundane affairs while doing wudu, talking about something. What are you cooking? I can smell that. Can I have my food ready? No. After wudu, it's not going to take hours. We're going to say pura discussion. While doing wudu, few things here and there. Some people turn their phone on and there's live chatting going on while they're doing wudu. It's okay. But pay some respect, some honor. And most of the time, your wudu place is in the toilet. Disrespectful to speak in the toilet. And let alone while doing wudu. Well, it's just that we do, looks like that even when we all, alhamdulillah, believe in barakah and, rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mercy wrapping up and, giving us protection. We believe all of that. In practice, we don't do it because we actually, practically, we just say yes, yes, but it's yes, yes. As opposed to, is it? I have to do it. Barakah, I'm going to miss even one, ray of barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's only 99% coming to me. One is, I can't do that. That should be the attitude. Whatever can come without any trouble. That's it. Can't be bothered. Others having I should do that. But, so is it must? No. We don't see the value. We don't see the value. We will find out when we lose something. Then we find out. We don't value things. To combine between the intention of the heart and the verbal formula. It is mustahab as well, or adab as well, to make that dua, the intention in the thing. I'm doing atawadda'u bismillah, for example. I'm doing wudu in the name of Allah. Or just atawadda'u, or in your own language, I'm making wudu for ritual things, for worship, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Something. To say it as well. This, if you could remember, it's other, not a must thing. To recite the transmitted dua. There's certain supplication, one can recite them. Now the issue is the hadith is weak and quite weak. The hadith is weak in a sense that it can be acted upon, but not to consider it at all a must. But it's such a beautiful hadith. Like the du'as are such It is amazing du'as. Every dua there is. I don't know whether you've heard of that, but since the book didn't mention it, I didn't mention it. I didn't include that here. It's like, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make my face radiant on the day when you would have dark face as well as the radiant ones. يَوْمَ تَبْيَضُّ وُجُوهُ وَتَسْوَدُّ وُجُوهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make my face bright and radiant. When doing the, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give my deed card, a report card, in my right hand on the day of judgment. Ya Allah, don't give me on the left hand. Have those, don't say it in Arabic, but think about that. And Ya Allah, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, put the shade of your throne on the day of judgment when there will be no one, no shade other than the shade of your throne. So whatever. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let me have my feet very strong when I've been questioned in the grave. So give me sabat. So the du'as are based on all of that. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, clear my sins of nose, my mouth, So when you do it and if focus goes there, it is very, very beautiful. But don't have to do it. If one could recall that, alhamdulillah. But at least say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in the beginning. Say du'as right at the end. And there are few du'as mentioned in between as well. اللهم اغفر لي ذنبي ووسع لي داري وبارك لي في رزقي. Certain du'as like this. So when the two du'as which are mentioned in the hadith, at least in your mind. While in toilet, don't say it loud, but in your mind. So intention again, do outside, and then into the masjid, Bismillah outside, and then into the toilet, not masjid. To recite basmala while washing washing or doing masa of each limb separately, rather than individually, every action before they say Bismillah. Other, but not the best. To insert one's small finger into the canal of the ear. So making a little bit of getting the inside of the ear. To move a loose ring. A loose ring doesn't need to be moved. Why? Okay, water would seep through anyway. But the tight one you have to, because the skin underneath must be wet. If you did even the loose one, it's better because you know sometimes it might stay dry. To use the right hand in inserting the water into the nose, using the water in the right hand to do this, and then cleaning with the left one. To use the left hand to clean the nose. And there are two things actually for cleaning the nose. One is called, according to hadith, istinthar and istinshaq. Istinthar means to do the, what you call, let's just say istinshaq when the word will come. Istinshaq is sniffing the water up like this to make sure that it goes a little bit up. Although water only needs to go up to the wet part. Istinthar is Urdu mein kehte hain chatakna, sinakna. So what would sinakna be? Like, what is that? Blow. Yeah, blow the nose. Like blowing it to clean it. Sucking, blowing. Sniffing up and blowing. So istinshaq and istinthar. For other than ma'adhur, the excused person, perform wudu upon the entry of the salah time. So immediately, as soon as obviously for ma'adhur, it is wajib. They have to do their wudu at the time if they wanted to do something. We don't have to do straight at the time as the time enters. You can do as soon as before when you're planning to perform your prayer. So Maghrib time starts. Do you have to do wudu straight away? No, you can do when you pray, whenever you pray, for Dhuhr, for Asr. The time starts, say, Asr time is 6:01 yesterday. But you make wudu at 6:30, no problem. But it is mustahab to do at 6:01 as the time enters. Other. To recite the two declarations of faith after completing the wudu, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. And then to drink the remainder of the water. And there are a lot of benefits, the spiritual benefit as well as medical benefits. That would only be applied to the people using the bucket, a small bowl, a mud, to perform their wudu. So whatever is left over, then that water is mustahab to just drink. To drink the remainder of the water standing and then say, Oh Allah, make me from the repenters and make me from those who attain purity. Allahumma ja'alni min al-tawwabin wa ja'alni min al-mutatahhirin. Now, Obviously, this is something we never did and we can't do it. Why can't we do it? Because we don't use the bucket to do the wudu. You can't do that for tap. Tap is full. You can be what is left over there. Nothing.
Does it also apply if you're doing ghusl with the bucket? So it's just for wudu.
You drink that small amount, whatever is left in the bucket, standing. And this was traditionally thought to be from hukama, from the traditional, like herbalists or the doctors of the ancient times. They would say that would be a cure for many things. Some say for back pain, some say for urinary problems. There's barakah in that. The way of treating it. Allah knows. Obviously, this is special water. The leftover water, you've just been taking water from the small bucket, and whatever is left in there. Makruha. Wasting water. It's disliked. Being miserly with it, not going the other way. Only taking it with a dropper. Don't do that. To splash one's face with water, making everything wet around you. Some people are so crazy about that you can't do wudu next to them in the masjid, sitting there. Sometimes you feel that let me wait, because by the time he finishes, I would have done half of my wudu, and then I only do the rest. With this side, it's already wet. He's sitting and he's smiling. Half of the face gone, half of the arm gone. Let's do the rest. And that's not appropriate. To speak of mundane affairs is disliked, and that is why it's sunnah and mustahab to not do it. To seek the assistance of others, obviously without excuse, is makruh, disliked, and that is why not doing it is a mustahab act. To do masa of the head thrice with new water. Doing masa. Masa is done only once. Keep doing it. It's actually making your hair wet. You've done ghusl of your head. It's ghusl now. Enough water gone on the head. So that's disliked. Okay, 3 types of wudu. Fard wudu, wajib wudu, and mustahab. Fard is upon one who wishes to perform a ritual prayer, even though it be nafil or janaza or sajda tilawa, or to touch Quran, even a single verse of Quran while you're touching it, you have to have it. This is fard. You should be making wudu and doing it. Wajib only for tawaf of Holy Kaaba. And mustahab, 22 situations. For one wishing to sleep in a ritually pure state before going to bed, you mean. You're fine, but you lost your wudu, just make your wudu before going to bed. You get good dreams, you'll be purified, and you get spiritually more blessed. Upon waking up, because you might be waking up for tahajjud or for fajr, and God forbid if you're too late, then even then you have to wake up for your qada. And if you've prayed your fajr and now you've woken up, it's time for duha prayer, ishraq prayer. And then, so that one can be in the state of continuous wudu, doing that. It's amazing. You just broke your wudu, straight back to wudu. Especially, and this is a piece of advice, if you can't do that while you're indoors, do it whenever you leave home. Don't think that my plan is to go there. By the time I come back, it will be an hour time. It's still Zohar time, and I can do my Asr wudu later on. You never know. You can get stuck anywhere. Leaving house with the, don't put things in contingent, another thing. That causes more trouble. If you're staying indoors, obviously you stay whichever way, if you don't feel like doing wudu. But when you leave house, because you never know, you might get stuck somewhere, who knows? You might get into, God forbid, any accident. Then long hour. You thought to be here in an hour, it actually took 2 hours. And our Jamaat missed, and I haven't got wudu. I could have done my prayer there and then, because there was another brother who could have made our Jamaat. I was in the shopping center, could have done my prayer there, but no, now that I'm stuck. Oh, I didn't change my clothes or what. That's another crazy thing. To not be in pure clothes, thinking that, oh, I'm going to come back. I'm only going there, I'm coming back. As if you are the one planning all of that, as if everything is in your control. And if you think about that, and you realize that many a time, it is proven that you were wrong. Don't do things like that. And for the performance of wudu, for one who is already in that state of wudu. Now remember, there is a small asterisk there. The reason is, the reason I put that there is because it is not okay, it is just like wasteful to do your wudu and not done any good deed and doing another wudu. That's not the way. You must do justice to this wudu, either pray something, quote Quran and recite something, do nafil, tahiyatul wudu, something. And then you're still in the state of wudu, it's Maghrib time, and I've been in the state of wudu for whole hour, 3 hours, and I've already done asr with that. Maghrib time, if I have time, like now, and plenty of time, I'm going home or whatever, then do your wudu again. If you did it, that is mustahab. Not must, mustahab. But not if you haven't done any good practice, any good action which requires wudu to be done. Then don't do that. After backbiting, lies, carrying tales, and other sins, to purify yourself physically and spiritually, and then repenting obviously as well. Inshallah, that will help. After the recitation of foul poetry, shouldn't be doing it, but if you've done it, or whatever. After laughing loudly outside of the salah, now laugh out loud in the prayer. If it is loud enough, so there are 3 stages. We have to mention it before anyway. Did we? We did? We didn't. Not yet. Okay. So if you, oh yeah, there was some other class. Oh, I just started. So if you smile, there's 3 levels. One is called tabassum. Tabassum is smile, only smile. If you smile in the prayer, it doesn't nullify anything. It's all fine. It is not the best thing while you're praying, while you're smiling, thinking about what? Being in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is watching you and you smile. Being non-serious, isn't it? Unless you just realize something of Allah's mercy and blessing and favor, like Jannah, about Rasulullah, about companion. That's fine, that's natural, that's okay. But not as in being callous and, non-serious. That's bad. But doesn't nullify anything. Second is called dahik. Dahik is when there's a small laughter, which only you could hear. Only you could hear. That breaks your prayer, but not your wudu. And the third one is qahqaha. We call qahqaha in Urdu, qahqaha. Qahqaha, loud enough that next person could hear you. It breaks your wudu and your prayer. Only in Hanafi school. Other Imams do not take that hadith. They say the hadith is for those Sahaba only. So what happened? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was leading prayer and it rained just recently for a few days. And there were small areas of puddles, very small puddles of water. So a blind Sahabi entered the masjid and he slipped in one of those puddles. He didn't see it. And it's quite natural. So it wasn't harm, but it was like a little slip. It's quite natural when small kids slip, you don't laugh. Elderly, not elderly, I think someone young like ourselves, if we slip, it's a natural way of the people just laugh. So certain Sahaba who saw next to him, they all laughed loud. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after finishing the prayer, asked, "Who did this?" They all stood up. Go and make your wudu and come back and pray again. So other Imam said the hadith has some weakness, so we don't take that. We say no. This is a hadith and we take it because it has got enough strength. The Hanafis take it. And then they say, yeah, but that was only for them. Only for those people. I said, yes, it may be only for them, but in Hanafi school it is, if you may, because this is against the qiyas. Against the qiyas. It's called غير مدرك بالقياس. Something which cannot be understood through analogy, through using your logic. It's not logical to laugh and break your wudu. Laughter doesn't cause any foul stuff to come out of your body. That's the reason for breaking wudu. That's why bleeding, passing wind, urine, and like we're sleeping. And there's why sleeping? Because when you sleep, you don't know whether you have passed wind or not. That's a surrogate marker of that. Because there's a hadith to support this. Al-aynani wika'u sih. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Obviously, it's not scientific, maybe, but it doesn't matter. We'll find out in future. Science is way behind. Al-aynan. The eyes are wika'u sih, are the knot of anal tongue, anal sphincter. That sphincter goes with that. So once his eyes are closed, like not just closed, he's sleeping. When he's sleeping, that gets relaxed. Once it's relaxed, there may be some wind trapped in there, would come out without you knowing it. That would nullify your wudu. That's a surrogate marker for that. Anyways, so Hanafis would take that hadith and act upon it. Other Imams say no, that was specific to them, and it doesn't go with the prayers. So fine, that's your choice. So, but outside of the prayer, laughter doesn't cause any harm. It doesn't break your wudu. Why? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam specified the situation, and he gave that ruling for those Sahaba, only for those Sahaba, and for them to do both. So it is bound within the parameters, so you can't take it out of that. Just sit within that realm. The domain is clear. While you're praying and laughing outside, then your wudu and prayer both. Okay. After bathing, after taking bath, or carrying a dead body, and after bathing the dead body, or carrying the dead body, it is not must. For the time of each salah, new prayer, new salah, wudu, why not? Before can you see what the chat? There's something on the chat. Some 1 or 2 points. I will check it maybe afterwards. You have a look. Before bathing, for major ritual impurity. So when you get the ghusl done, before that, wudu is done, and there's a reward for it. And when we do catch up on ghusl, then inshallah that will be covered. Before eating, drinking, or sleeping for one in the state of major ritual impurity. So ideally, you should do your own ghusl. If you don't want to, there's permissibility for that. You want to sleep, you're tired, you've been with your wife, and you just, so you thought, you know what, I'm sleeping. Well, before doing that, if you just do at least wash the filth away in private part, and then you also, that's good. Or even if you want to eat, let's go to Tesco's or wherever you want to go to buy something. I don't know. Tesco's, we are boycotting or anything like this. So, but anyway, eating, drinking, and sleeping for the one in a state of major ritual impurity. Yeah? Before having relationship with your wife, upon becoming angry, for the recitation of Quran verbally without touching Quran, that's far. The reading and transmitting of hadith, stay in the state of wudu. As I mentioned, the ulama, when they are doing the final year, the students for the final year, they all stay in the state of wudu for whole year, reciting 45,000 hadiths. Stay in the state of wudu, because this is the other. For studying anything about civics, learning fiqh, hadith, and whatever, be in the state of wudu. Before performing the adhan, iqama, or khutbah, be in the state of wudu, which means that they're not wajibat. If you are not in the state of wudu, your wudu is adhan, iqama is fine, but you do things when you can carry on. It's not a condition to have your wudu. When visiting the tomb of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, another, blessed place to be. So yeah, so that is where we stop, inshallah ta'ala. Any question?
Actually, it's slightly dislike makruh tanzili to not have wudu during the adhan. Is it makruh tahleel similarly dislike if you do the iqamah without wudu?
That's more of a concern. So there's difference of opinion. So some would consider that to be makruh tahleel while doing the iqamah, because you're not going to join this straight away, isn't it? You have to go back. So why are you doing it that way? All of that, those are the points that we learn are a matter of knowing them as opposed to practice. We only practice keeping everything safe, the best in accordance with Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Remember, so the question was wiping back of the neck part of Sunnah as well. Yes, it is. In Hanafi school, it is mustahab to wipe the nape of the neck. Now, some would consider that to be mustahab in Hanafi school, or some would consider it to be sunnah. Should we start a ghusl with wudu? Yes, that's another important point too. If you did wudu first, that is mustahab. Wudu you don't have to. MashaAllah. Are you allowed to make wudu? You have to being naked and you can do wudu? Yes, you can do that. It's not in keeping with the sunnah or other, but yes, no problem with that. It doesn't. Now, it would be disliked if you are in a place where people can enter. That would be disliked. In olden days, there were no doors to lock it. There were mainly a curtain or something of that sort. It's very, very difficult, to not get any exposure. So we should try it. So now that we've got properly locked doors, inshallah ta'ala, that's not a problem. Yes, but sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he would even cover his lower part with a sheet, even for ghusl, even when he's taking ghusl with his wife. Would not become naked, even for the relationship. Never ever. That's the beauty. That's the beauty. And this is why we appreciate and realize, although there's nothing wrong with that, and obviously the way and the time that we live in, it is people have all the fantasies and ideas about having new relationships. So, but we should try and not be like animals. Halal does not mean that we should just fall for that. Halal means that if it is in keeping, so the idea should be not that it is halal or haram. Is it going to bring me close to my Lord? Is it something that I would get more benefit from? Then you see the barakah. The problem with ummah now is that we only go for halal. If it's halal, I'm going to do haram. Okay, I will stay away from that. Anything which is permissible according to any imam, wherever it is, I'm going to go for that. That's not the attitude of a believer. The question should be, is it going to bring me closer to Jannah or not? Closer to my Lord or not? Is Allah going to be happy with that? No, Allah would not be happy. But would he be unhappy? No, he's not going to be unhappy either. So it means that action, half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, few hours, the whole day, whatever we are doing, Allah is not going to be happy, not smiling at me. He's just saying, like ignoring me, because I've not done something to attract his mercy or his pleasure, his love. Isn't that a loss? Isn't that a loss for a believer to not have Allah looking at him with love, care, affection, compassion, mercy, blessings? You can't see that. And if you truly love your, mom, dad, and then you know that dad is not looking at me with a happy face, or mom is not doing that, or wife, or whoever that is, you should be agitated, should be uncomfortable. My teacher is not happy with me. He's not happy, but nobody is very happy. He's not today. But then that should be causing a stir, agitation, upset, depression. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is our problem. One of the major problems of Ummah is that we only want to do the tick box. That's why there's no substance. May Allah give us tawfiq. Yes.
What is if, for example, Farz namaz is happening and you need to do wuzu, do you have to do the full sunnah because you might miss the Farz?
So if you know that you would miss your jama'ah, if the imam is in the last, yes, you must just do fard and join the jama'ah. If you know that, yes, first rakat tend to be 2 or 3 minutes minimum, and if it's Fajr or Isha, even longer. So I can definitely do my wudu. I don't need to just do my wudu in slow motion. Quick ones, with enough decency that I'm doing it with some respect and adab.
You mentioned the point about puberty. So with children, if they haven't done their full wuzu, are they still allowed to pray?
Yes.
And if so, is it accepted?
Yes.
Still accepted.
So for them, remember, the kids do not have any obligation for Sharia. They're not, what we call, they're not mukallaf. They are not responsible for their actions. So they do not attract any sin. but they get barakah and blessing of the good deeds. The reason Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that start making them pray as much better, as much perfect as possible. I'm not saying that don't ever, ensure. Many times you would ignore, and sometimes you just make them ignore. Let's do with me. Don't send them on their own. You send them to do wudu after you've done them, do with you a few times, just to test. You give them a little bit of respite, so they don't feel that I'm being micromanaged all the time. There will be time when you know that my son is potty trained now. He can do bits on his own. But every so often you still go and check. We'll see, haven't done do again. That's just nurturing and training. Be sensitive. If you just let them do whatever they do, they would, because the day they become pubertal, they're not going to say, okay, from today I will do it properly. They're not going to do that. They're in a bad habit of missing out on all the points, all the other points. So from 7 you start, and they've got 3 years to learn to be doing perfect prayers and perfect wudu. That is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if they do not get used to praying, they could be, what you call disciplined. And they are not mukallaf even at the age of 10. They've got a few more years to go, like 2 years, maybe 3 years before they become puberty. And yet, they can be disciplined. Why? Because if you don't make them disciplined and following things properly now, they would end up committing sin and being sinful while they're puberty, still not doing things properly. Then each missing action would cause them harm. They'll be sinful for each of those. And it would take another week, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, a month, who knows, to come to the term. So during that period, they just keep accumulating sin for everything. And you're responsible for that. That was your responsibility to ensure. It's not that you just tell them. It's your responsibility to make sure that they know how to do, their wudu, their istinja, their ghusl, their prayer properly. Their fasting as well. All of that, zakat, you can ignore that later on. But these bits must be done by the time they come here. They've got plenty to do. The adab, the respect, valuing, the deen and teachings, a lot of things to do. When we don't take, any sincere heed to this, when to get them ready for 11 plus, already planning 3 years in advance, booking for that difficult tuition center where they do not take with a long queue. But planning now, because I aim that you'll be in that school. I'm not thinking about their puberty. So we have to wake up a bit more and check it out. Any other question?
Chair.
Washing private part first or doing wudu first during ghusl, please. Washing private part. Removing the filth is a condition for wudu to be valid. So wash wherever that is. Once that's all clean, then do wudu. And then do your ghusl. Inshallah, when we cover the ghusl, we will just go through that in
What
detail.
about touching the private part, but not when with the clothes on? Does that break the wudu?
Sorry, say again.
So if you
Only the body has been washed. All the filth has been removed. Then you have done your wudu. But obviously, you have to do ghusl as well. You're talking about ghusl.
no wudu.
So that wudu does not make you pure. Because you're required. Are you talking about the filth which is sexually defiling?
No, my question is, if you have wudu
Yes.
and you touch your private part on the clothes, does that
No,
break
no,
the
no.
wudu?
In Hanafi school, it doesn't nullify your wudu. We haven't done nullifier of the wudu. That'll be next time maybe. But touching your private part in Hanafi school doesn't nullify your wudu. Okay. Even with lust. So there's certain imams who say if you did it with lust, like Imam Ahmad, then it breaks. Imam Shafi said, touch it, gone, straight away. Obviously, when they touch means without any cloth in between, direct. Mubashara. In Hanafi school, even if you did it with lust, it doesn't. What nullifies the wudu is the release of madhi, like in the liquid. That would nullify wudu, not the action itself. But should you be playing? Obviously not. It's considered disrespectful, highly against the adab. And that causes more trouble to people. You get into this idea, keep stimulating yourself. Be a normal human being. Why being crazy? It would lead up to, oh, I was completely fine. Then you start playing and slowly moving on and keep rubbing to then you start get all the funny thoughts, and then next 5 minutes you're already in this mood of committing haram, which for non-married and even the married people today, unfortunately, the way things are, they live like unmarried people, even the married people. It's a problem, and media doesn't help.
Let's say you are the way to be very crucial.
So the imam has broken the wudu, he must appoint someone to lead on his behalf. So we just take someone from behind, whoever was the most seasoned, sensible person. That is why this first saf, 2 or 3 people there must be decent, Sharia-wise, properly covered, those who could lead the prayer, know masail of prayer, they should be standing there. And then that is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لِيَلِيَنِي مِنْكُمْ أُولِي الْأَحْلَامِ وَالنُّهَى. Let those who are ahlam, means wise enough, age-wise, old, not children. Noha, wise enough from their intellectual capacity, knowledge, Sharia-wise, they know this stuff. Let them be next to me, close to me. If there was a need, they should be able to correct. If there was a mistake, they should be able to lead if there was a need. In Belford Road Mosque, he had a nosebleed while he was leading Maghrib prayer. So he held his head like this, and he pointed to the Imam standing behind. And he was one of the alim, mashallah, so he led the rest of the prayer. And he couldn't go and because he didn't know where the toilet was. So he stayed there on the side. Obviously, he could have gone, but he didn't know. He was a guest. So where to go? I don't even know where the wudu place is. And then so many people, normally you just go through and through. So Mufti didn't know his whereabouts. It was fine. And then he did his wudu afterwards. But if there was only few 15, 10-year-old, 5-year-old boys standing there, because they came earlier, which alhamdulillah, they're right. But is that sensible? Would they lead the prayer? They can't. Now you're putting in a difficult position. Someone has to come out from wherever. And the Imam cannot, he has to appoint someone. Who would he appoint? He doesn't say, who can I appoint? I'm standing there with my, whatever. I don't know how to recite a Quran. So why are you standing there? Because you are saying that I'm ready to help. If you don't, if you're only what you call the spectator, be on the side a little bit. That's someone who could do the bit, stand close to you. But no, it's emotion. No, how dare you ask my son to move? He gave me a piss of him. It's all right, my right and your right. What can we do? Alhamdulillah, enough for us to boil our blood and get depression or hypertension. So you can go in front of anyone. You don't have to worry about. If there was side path, you can just take the sideline, go from the side. But if you don't, because just straight cross everyone. If you need to cross people, you can cross it. There's no sin for that.
Usually what happens is people don't move in.
Yeah, they must. When you do that, the problem is knowledge is a problem. They don't just know what they're doing. They think they're not. Why are you coming in between me? It's again my right. Why are you moving me? So, then you go keep going, walking all the way wherever some sensible person would let you. Don't fight them off because they start shouting. Full punch. And then, you can't, don't underestimate the level of people. They can do anything. How dare you touch me? There's a brother who was sitting on the chair and he was sitting half on the previous side. And I happened to be standing there. And this was in Ramadan. I was asking whether I moved him just to move forward, even in budget. So I prayed literally, doing a little bit said the here or there. And after prayer, I just stood up and I explained that. And this is very recent. You found it so offensive. Without naming, I said, make sure that we're doing this stuff. and someone is saying to me, just move. There must be a reason for that, inshallah ta'ala. But don't be that, I don't like being moved by anyone. This is what he started arguing. Brother, I'm not talking to you. I'm just saying general understanding. This is how it should be. You know what? He went home. He put it on the group. Everyone, they don't want us to come to the masjid, and I would never ever go to that masjid again. And he didn't until now. This is the problem. What can you do? So we live in this time where may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the tawfiq. So the only way is to stay quiet. Don't try to correct people. Let them all face on the day of judgment. You don't try to be. It's like even for your own children. They don't listen. They find it like more offensive, and they say, "Oh, you're trying to control."
But
Okay.
sometimes it's the way you say it.
Sometimes
Let's say some people do understand.
yeah.
There was one person next to me. He had a habit of staying too long in sajda, and the imam's already got up, and he's moved to the next room.
Yeah.
But
You miss your prayer.
it's missing. It's
Yeah,
not
he's
for-
got his
it's
lost
not
his prayer.
But
Yeah, that's
he-
another
he
very
didn't
important point.
understand nicely.
That's the thing. We need to learn our bits very, very clearly. Yeah, don't go inside. You don't think that I want to continue with my khushu in the prayers. That's for your sunnah. When Imam rises up, you just follow him. Not half a minute after. It's straight away. It's straight away. That is called ittiba'. The Imam is there to be followed. When he stands up, you stand up. When he sits down, you sit down.
Yeah, when the congregation start getting up,
Exactly.
after the imam's completed the action.
Then you're
or
free.
Between the action.
No, after you cannot go ahead of Imam. That's a sinful thing.
That's right.
You must not be. Don't do so close to Imam that he may just slow down. So he started like this, but he may slow down now. You've gone ahead of him. That's a sinful. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam put a very stern warning about it. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said words to the effect that those people who go ahead, they anticipate and precede Imam. Don't they fear that Allah would turn their face into that or a donkey? This is how ugly this is.
It's the narration of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam
That's
said that you start your action when I've completed my action. Is it done complete? Then you start.
No, actually, there's problem with that understanding. Because the general understanding is Imam is, another hadith says, is to be followed. And follow literally means to follow. Follow means to follow. Follow means, if I go here and you, after I've done all my work and you're following me, when would you start following me? You straight afterwards. That's the understanding of the word. Understanding of the word. So the word say follow. Follow is you literally follow wherever it goes. Not follow that I have done my thingy and now okay, let me just do it now. So this shouldn't be too quick and we shouldn't be too late. Just follow it. And that's a legitimate difference of opinion because some people would take it, follow it. Once you've completed, then I would follow. Certain people have that understanding. Just leave it for them. You just stick to your school and you'll be fine. Because there is wisdom behind each of those points. When you remember, deen is learned in totality. Everything. Not through the, I found this word and I'm going to follow that. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Because this hadith would be explained by 20 other hadiths, 50 other sayings of the Sahaba, 20 other fatwa of the Imams or of the Sahaba. You have to put everything together and come up with the rulings. And that is the role or job of the Mujtahid Imams. Mujtahid Imams. So if you don't do that, any specialty has the same. Experts would explain to you what this legalistic, anyone who is not a lawyer, solicitor, I can fail you straight away on any statement of the law, no matter how clever you are. And this is your language, English, pure plain English. You wouldn't understand that. Why? They are all nuanced words. Likewise for medicine. You read any medical text, pass it and try to explain to me. You'll be stumbling at every sentence. Guaranteed. Because they're all connected. There's 20 other things. So before we study the disease, 4 or 5 years before that, we just go through the anatomy, the physiology, the biochemistry, the pathology, the pharmacology, and then you start going into true disease, which is the core. Assalamu alaikum.